Alrighty, we're going to be making a video about some of the basic figurative language techniques, the ones that every writer has to have, and I have a helper today. This is my son, LJ. LJ, can you say hi?
Hello.
He is here to talk to us about some of the things he knows too. Isn't that right, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's start by just kind of defining figurative language. Figurative language is also called literary techniques. It says something other than what is literally meant for effect. There are many, many types of figurative language, and today we're just going to be talking about some of the most popular. There'll be other videos that will talk about some of the others, and the ones we'll be doing today will be imagery, metaphor, simile, and personification. And one of the reasons we're pairing all these together is because they can be easily confused. So we're going to take some time to separate them out. Hey, LJ,
What?
let me ask you a question. I think you can figure out why we do figurative language. Which is more fun to say? Zavy baby is cute, or Zavy baby is as cute as a chunky baby bear? Which is more fun?
When baby, it's just cute.
What? Well, he said the wrong answer.
Oh, yeah.
Most people think that calling baby a chunky baby bear, that he's as
Well,
cute as a chunky baby bear, is better.
Chunky baby bear.
Yeah, see, most people, that's figurative language. That was a simile. Just calling him cute sounds kind of boring, but if you say he's as cute as a chunky baby bear, that's more fun. Okay, thanks, LJ. Keep being honest. All right.
Excuse me.
Yes, dear.
Can I make funny faces now?
Okay, how about we talk about imagery and then you can make some funny faces, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so imagery and sensory details. This is one of the most basic.
What's
this is
that?
when you describe, I'm going to talk about that. That's the picture of the sensory, the senses that you use for sensory details. You describe using the 5 senses: sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell. And that's pictures of your 5 senses. So you have to describe using all those different senses. So here's some examples over here. The sun was setting behind low, gray-blue storm clouds. So that's describing what you see. I breathed the sweet aroma of baking cornbread. That's describing what you smell. After my shoes are kicked off, I stick my toes in the warm and gritty sand, and that's touch. And it's easily confused with simile and metaphor. That's because people think that just because a simile might help you understand how you hear something better, it is also sensory detail. Sensory details usually is just describing when you're describing without any of that extra stuff. You might have some of that mixed in there, but this is just describing with the senses, not using any other literary techniques. So, like LJ's hair is spiky and thick. I'm describing how it feels. Okay, do some faces. Do some faces real quick. All right, good job. Thanks, buddy. All right, let's do another slide. Metaphor, word or phrase that is directly applied to an object or action which is not literally applicable. All right, LJ, shh. We're listening right now. Examples: my hospital room was a cold cell and the IV was my shackle. He pleaded for forgiveness, but Janice's heart was iron. Her hope was a fragile seed. So notice how each one of these is describing something that's typical in everyday life, but then compares it to something totally different. So a hospital room, when you call it a cold cell, like you're in a prison, you get an image of what that would feel like. Your IV on your arm being your shackle, you immediately feel how trapped this person feels. So a lot of people will confuse this with simile. Metaphor is not going to be indirect. It's direct. It is these things. Her hope is a fragile seed. It's supposed to be more powerful. Another thing people might do is when they try to say it is applicable. So if I say, LJ's hair is thick, right? Well, I'm just describing it. That's not actually saying a metaphor. Now, if I said, LJ's hair is a cornfield, that's a metaphor, right? And that's because it feels very bristly. He has daddy's hair texture. So he's got really thick, bristly hair.
Nope, it's spiky.
Yeah, that too. See, if I said LJ's hair is spiky, that is not a metaphor. But if I said LJ's hair is a porcupine, that is a metaphor.
Where's a little porcupine?
Okay, we'll talk more about your hair in a second, okay?
What's that?
That's simile. We're going to talk about simile now, okay? So simile is a word or phrase compared to an object or action which is not literally applicable, but this time you're going to be using like or as, so it's not direct. You tell the reader that it's like this thing. So it was as if the broccoli was the foulest of poisons and the chocolate milk was his only known antidote. He spit out his teeth like stones. Your whining is like the buzzing of a billion gnats in my ears. So each one of those is a simile. His hair is spiky like a porcupine. I'm not saying his hair is a porcupine. I'm saying his hair is like a porcupine. It is not a direct comparison. I'm comparing them. I'm saying they are the same, okay? So that is the difference between simile and metaphor. This picture over here should also help. Metaphor is this guy, right? He says, you're a weasel. So he's saying, you are a weasel. That's a metaphor. But then he says, well, I'm like one. So if you're a simile, he's saying, if I'm a simile, you should say, I'm like a weasel. Then I'm a simile. So those can get easily mixed up. So don't mix those up. Personification, a lot of people will tell you that this is a type of metaphor. So most of the time if you see...
Birthday party, birthday party, birthday party,
Do you think that candle looks like a birthday party?
Yeah.
See, that's simile, saying that the candle picture looks like a birthday party. But we're talking about personification now, okay? That's when you're saying that something is doing something that makes it act like a human. So it's a type of metaphor that gives something that's not a human characteristics. Attributing human characteristics to something not human to add interest or understanding. It is a type of metaphor. Examples, the flowers waltzed in the gentle breeze. Flowers are not people, but we're describing the way they move in the breeze as a waltz. A waltz is a really fancy kind of dance. So the flowers waltzed in the gentle breeze. At 5 a.m., my alarm clock began screaming in my ears. The alarm clock is not a person. We say that it is screaming to help you understand how loud the sound was and how annoying it was. My favorite sofa wrapped me up and held me close. Well, obviously, unless there's something really wrong with your sofa, sofas don't do this. So you're supposed to get the image of the sofa just kind of like...
Just very binky.
Like your blankie, right? Just like your Sleepy Night-Night. LJ has a blanket he calls Sleepy Night-Night. Sleepy Night-Night is his best friend, right? Sleepy Night-Night is warm and wonderful and cares about LJ very much. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
See, that's personification. Blankie isn't real. Sleepy Night-Night isn't real. But when we pretend that it is, we talk about it like it is, that's personification. Easily confused with metaphors. So, like, if you were to say any of these were metaphors, you wouldn't necessarily be wrong. But if you want to give, like, an even better answer, you say personification. Okay? All right, here's some notes. Go ahead and pause the slide. It's just a quick overview of everything we've talked about so far.
Mommy.
We're almost done, baby. You're doing a great job helping. And this
Mommy.
right here is a skill check. There are 4 questions.
5.
Well, I know, good counting, but look at this. There's 4 questions where you have to tell me if it's imagery, metaphor, simile, or personification. And then the last one down here, you're going to write some of your own examples of any of the ones that we've covered so far. And what's really cool about this is that the first 4 are all about diapers. All about baby brother's stinky diapers. So, thought that'd be fun. Alrighty, hopefully you learned a little something, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.